What's up, guys? A little bit of an update here. Last video I was talking about... Okay, I have a few thoughts here. Last video I was talking about somehow finding a way of getting my camera mounted in my car for videos in my car. And just after making that video, a couple days after, I found this thing at the thrift store. It was like it's like a tripod, what I'm using now, except it had a suction cup on the end of it. So you could articulate it was a single leg. So it was like this articulatable thing with a suction cup on one end and like a tripod mount type thing on the other end for connecting to your camera. When I bought it, I didn't realize it was broken. I took it out of the package and yeah, the suction cup part was completely snapped off. So that's not good. That's a tangent. Anyway, we got other solutions though. I'm thinking of other solutions. One of the other solutions could possibly be a 3D printed one. You see, I have these things. I got a bunch of these screwed onto this one bolt. This right here, this fits into the hot shoe of my camera, like that, so I could pick you up. And that's cool. I think that might be a solution for maybe like 3D printing something that goes on here, and then that connects up to my rear view mirror, or like a suction cup or something like that. So then I could just take my camera and slide it into this, and that would be my mount. I don't know how good it would be for the hot shoe, but like... I don't know, that doesn't seem so bad. Another thing, what else was I going to talk about with this video? That was the main thing. Oh yeah, somebody commented on one of my more recent videos, my closet video that I just posted last week, about a tutorial that I made a while ago that I made private or unlisted because I was concerned about privacy stuff, so I just mass unlisted all my videos. So it's back up on my channel because this guy was asking about how I did the thing that I did, and the video was no longer up, so he couldn't see what I did anymore. So I didn't know people actually like got value out of the things I posted, so that's cool. Thank you for commenting, and if you're watching this, thank you. That was that made my day. That was this morning. Anyway, been thinking about the Unix philosophy as I do. I do that a lot. And I think it's just because it creeps up in every day, you know? You don't need to think about it in order to experience it. And it is my opinion or belief that the people who are the most successful often abide by the Unix philosophy without even knowing that they are, for the most part. And the Unix philosophy is a philosophy of organization. It's of modularity. How else do I put it? Making robust systems. I think that's the objective of the Unix philosophy. Make things small and very good at doing one thing. Do one thing and do it well. And not only does this apply to like people specializing in something, you can make a lot of money by specializing, but also how people organize their lives. Like a lot of people, they don't have fail-safes in... I guess they do. Like I'm thinking more of in a technological way, like cloud storage, for example. I don't like cloud storage, but a lot of people use it. A lot of people swear by it because if they break their device, then they don't lose all of their data, and they can transfer. They can view their files and stuff from any device that's connected to this the cloud. That's cool and it's convenient, and it works for a lot of people for a long time. But there's one thing that it can't give you, and it's reliability. Like, I think it's reliability. Maybe. They can make all the promises that they want of like, oh, this is so streamlined and this will make all of your file accessing needs so much more convenient and easy, but that's not always the case. Oh, cloud technology is a complicated thing, and you can try to abstract it away behind nice interfaces and you know, heuristics, but it's not seamless. we're at the advent of it. It's been around for quite some time now, but we're still like, we haven't perfected it. And a lot of people have issues with cloud-related storage solutions. Like email, for example. If your email database is stored on the cloud, you'll have a lot of problems. Because whenever you delete your emails, they will still be on the cloud. And it's really, really dumb. What I'm trying to say here is that yes, maybe you can configure it to do what you want it to do, but the people who are using it, for the most part, they don't have that technological know-how in order to configure their cloud environment in the way that best suits them. So they run into problems, and they have to ask like tech support or something. I know a lot of people don't have the energy to put into learning cloud technologies. That's understandable. But they still want to use it. And maybe that I disagree with. Maybe I disagree with the fact that if you don't understand a technology, you should still be using it. I don't think that's the case. I think you should only use what you understand to a significant degree. Otherwise, you're at the peril of whoever owns or has manufactured the technology. That's why subscription-based services work so well. You know? You understand? Like, people are locked into a system, like Netflix, for example. You know, people want to watch movies. That's something that people want and will always want for the foreseeable future. And Netflix made it such that it's very easy to watch movies. And they still do a pretty decent job of servicing that. What's the word I'm looking for? Providing that service for people. But in using that service, you are becoming reliant on a platform, a centralized platform. Is it 2 o'clock? It is 2 o'clock. It's a centralized platform that people have gotten used to using. Like YouTube, for example, as well. People get used to using it, and once the population of users reaches a critical mass, then the organization behind it can start to implement features that are anti-user, that are there to extract money and attention from people. And that's only maintainable if the people are dependent on the software or service or whatever. With pirating software, you're not dependent on any single service. You're not dependent on any single platform. It's all decentralized. And it's not a matter of just knowing how a specific software works. I guess for some people that pirate, it is just a matter of that. But it's also a matter of knowing how the technology works. How does file sharing actually work in a peer-to-peer architecture? Once you know how that works, it's like you could use whatever you want, and it's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward in order to get the media that you want to get. Watch the movies that you want to watch. And there's no ads. All of the stuff is stored on your own device, which is nice. I think I didn't finish my previous thought of cloud services. Like, people want to have an easy life, and cloud providers advertise that it'll give you an easy life, but it doesn't actually give you an easy life. It complicates things tremendously, and you probably would have been better off if you just stored all of your files locally on some external hard drive, or even like a server if you can figure out how to set that up. And I encourage everybody, like, if you're watching this right now and you don't have your own server, I'd consider buying a server. Like, I've heard Racknerd is pretty good. It's like $23 a month. No, not month. A year. $23 USD a year. So really, you don't have an excuse to not at least explore that option, because it's so cheap. You know, a provider with a good reputation that provides like hosting services for arbitrary operating systems or computers. Being able to have that freedom to make your own, let's say, website, or your own VPN, your own storage system, your own cloud, basically, if you want. Maybe that's not maybe cloud storage isn't something you should do through like a Racknerd service, but like a home server, for example. Home servers are free, you know. I have a Raspberry Pi running. Can you see it? Can you see that? Yeah, that's my Raspberry Pi. It's got a Noctua fan on it because I recently had a problem with the fan making too much noise, so I just replaced the cheapo one with a nice one, and now it's I don't really notice it much anymore. Not that you really need a fan on a Raspberry Pi, but better safe than sorry, you know. And on that Raspberry Pi, I'm running like an Apache web server, and it hosts a website that that tells me the temperature of my room, because there's also a humidity and temperature sensor hooked up to it. Words are hard today. Anyway, servers. If you know how to use a server, you definitely know how to operate your computer on a level that's beyond the average. And I think with anything you use, it's probably best if you set out to achieve some sort of mastery in that thing that you're using. I've been watching a lot of this one guy on YouTube. What's his name? Hold on. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Rajiv Surendra. Watching him, okay. The main thing that I wanted to talk about is his appreciation for good quality things. If you're going to buy something or like use it every day, he mainly focuses on things that you actually touch with your hands every day, like your faucets, like you know, your technology, all of that sort of stuff. If you're touching it every day and you're interacting with things on a daily basis, it's best for you to have it as good a quality as possible so that you actually enjoy you actually enjoy using it. And that's such a cool idea to me, you know? Maybe not cool, but it resonates with me a lot. Because when you use something every day, and it's a joy to use every day, and all of your stuff is like that, it's just a joy to be existing. You know, every day I wake up and I sit down at my desk and I open up my journal, and it's made of nice leather, and I uncap my pen, which is a nice Pilot Custom 74, and I write with a nice ink that's Pilot Iroshizuku Takesumi. And it's just a pleasant experience. How else do I describe it? And if everything in your life is like that, and you actually think about it, and you think like, man, I'm so happy I get to use this every day, or every week, or every month, whatever. And it's just a joy to be able to have this moment. And that's in everything you do. I think that's something that's really something. With this computer here, I built this computer myself. It's, I'm not going to get into the specifications of all of it, but I know all of the specifications of it, and I know the operating system inside and out. I know the init system, I know the display manager, I know the window manager. I know all of these things that come together to make my system function. And I appreciate it. A lot of people don't appreciate, like, there's levels to this, you know? There's levels to how much you can appreciate something, and the more you know about something, the more you can appreciate it. I think. You know, there's an immediate, like, sensation, like, of holding a nice pen, which is pleasant in itself. But in order to truly appreciate it, I think you can truly appreciate it in that way, but in order to have that reach another level of appreciation, you need to know more about it. You know, you need to know about the materials that it's made of. You need to know what went into the manufacturing process to make this a special thing. Like, I read somewhere online at one point, it was more of like a posed question to an audience. It was like, would you rather have this famous person's car? I forget who it was and what car it was, but would you rather have this famous person's car who actually drove in this car? Or is it just as valuable to have a complete one-to-one, like molecularly perfect replication of the car? They're two exactly identical vehicles, but one of them has a history, the other was manufactured like yesterday, for example. And I think a lot of people would pick the one that had the history, because it could be appreciated on another level. Being able to know that the things that you use have character and soul. A lot of things nowadays, they don't have character or soul. Like you buy a freaking desk or a freaking couch from IKEA. You know that it's poorly made. You know that whoever manufactured it did so in the most cheap way possible to push as much profit as possible to increase the profit margins for the shareholders. Like, there's no character in that. If you were to sit down on a couch and you know it was like handcrafted, you'd be like, wow, look at the details of this, the wood carving and the leather of this couch, man. But some people don't even stop to think about anything like that. They don't have the wiring in them in order to appreciate those nice things. So they're fine with bad quality things, but I don't know, maybe that's just something you're born with, or something that you learn at some point to appreciate things. So there's the appreciation of things, but there's also the appreciation of ideas and thoughts. I've been mostly talking about material things so far, but it's very rare in this day and age to come across a person that you can really appreciate on a knowledge level. How do I, like somebody who's well read, for example, like Silas Schmid on YouTube. He reads a lot of books and he's very smart because he can make all of these connections to all of these stories that he's read. And I don't know a whole lot of people like that in person who are like, wow, your brain is so systematized and vast in its knowledge that I appreciate it, you know. That's a good quality thing right there. Like, maybe brains can be appreciated in the same way that material things can. Because if somebody puts a lot of time and effort into structuring their brain in a way that makes sense to them and is enriching and what word am I looking for? If they're, I think you also know what I'm trying to say with this. It makes sense, but I don't know how to word it properly. Maybe it comes down to like rarity. Because nice things are rare. Nice brains are rare. And when one comes around, it's a good thing to be able to appreciate it. Maybe the problem is that there's such a lack of quality things that comes into people's lives that they just stop training that muscle of appreciation. And they forget how to appreciate things. So when something nice comes along, they're like, whatever, it's just like anything else. And when a nice person comes along, a good quality person, they also don't see it. And that's sort of, maybe there's some sort of like negative feedback loop in society where people don't put the time into making themselves appreciatable. I don't know. To make their brains good quality and systematic and rich in knowledge and experience. And so, because they don't do that, they don't know how to appreciate that for themselves and other people. And since there's less people in general that know how to appreciate that stuff, there's less of an incentive to making yourself more appreciable in the first place. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly. Because I'm not saying I'm very good in that regard with a good quality brain, but I'd like to think that I've put at least some effort into making myself worth appreciating in some regard. And the people, I meet like only a handful of people on a year by year basis that I can actually resonate with in that way. To see that they also put in a lot of effort into their own mind and their own appearance and their own thoughts and opinions and experiences. And when two people like that meet, I think like there's a level of respect that's just there because you understand the other person to some level. What am I saying? I'm tired. I've been tired. Okay, that is the end of this video. It's already 23 minutes long. Okay. Bye-bye.